And now, it's time for a Star Trek story. Aren, I think it's safe to say that you and I are probably some of the pastiest, whitest people ever born. It's our German, British, Eastern European ancestry. No. Which, of course, makes us experts on all things racial.
Of course.
So, as experts in the field, I pose a question to you. Aren, do our racial origins define who we are?
No.
No.
The Strange New Worlds writers would say otherwise, based on their atrocious, offensive clip that they shared to try and garner interest for season 3, which they thought would work somehow. Vulcans. Yeah.
And no. They'll just turn into Spock stereotypes.
Spock stereotypes. It's just, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. What defines who we are is how we're brought up, the culture around us, and even then, just internal factors that are just there because of our genes and who we are. Mm-hmm. You know, and there's so many forces at work.
Yeah.
And for an animal, sure, their origins because of their genetic makeup, whatever. But since we're more evolved than that, there's a lot more going on affecting it, including our own actual just choice rather than instinct alone.
It's almost as if people are more complex than whatever arbitrary group they're a part of.
Yeah.
Somehow. What, you mean they're all not the same?
Big, if true.
With speaking to Strange New Worlds, Star Trek definitely sometimes has some thoughts and feelings on this subject. Yeah. So I'm sure they'll have something to chime in with this subject on today's episode of Star Trek Stories. Yay! This is episode 74, Faces. I, of course, am your ethnological host, Jaron Hatch, and I'm joined here by my hereditary co-host, Aren Hatch.
I do like that movie.
Well, welcome to the show, everyone. We are rolling merrily along with our look at Voyager. This is the second episode in our Voyager Villains twofer, where we're taking a look at some of Voyager's early antagonists. Last time we watched State of Flux, where our good friend Tyson came on to help us investigate the Kazon, when we were all betrayed and backstabbed by Seska, who turned out to be a Cardassian spy, even in the Delta Quadrant. You can't get away from those pesky Cardassians.
You just find a way.
For today's episode, we have a returning guest with us. Sitting in the captain's chair, once again, we have the very lovely Kait Wright with us. Hello, Kait.
Hello.
Welcome. For those new to the show, Kait is both a good friend and roommate of Aren. Yeah, 2 peas in a pod. Last time you were on, Kait, we didn't actually watch Star Trek. You were here for Mad Max Fury Road.
Yes.
When we watched that for Nerd Movies 4, which I recall that was the first time you had seen that.
It is.
Movie. I think we all had a pretty good time with that. If I recall, you aren't the biggest action movie person, but you did enjoy that film.
I am not like a huge movie person in general, but I did enjoy that film. And it was one of those films where I still think of it on occasion. I'm like, that was really good. Like, it gets better in my memory as time goes on. I would watch it again.
Yeah, I remember that having a similar effect with me. Because if I recall when we watched it, you're like, that was really good. It's probably going to be a second before I watch it again. Which is what happened with you and I. I'm like, it's an almost overwhelming like movie experience, but then like it's one of those things like as the days are going, I'm like, yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah.
Also, when you were on last time, we talked a little bit about how you are kind of a nerd of many stripes. We just talked about how you do enjoy horror. We also talked about how you are a particularly you're like a literary nerd. You're also into games. Mm-hmm. If you had to narrow it down and pick one, if you had to get rid of all the other nerddoms, what's the one you're going to hold on to and define yourself by?
Oh, geez. I would say probably a fantasy nerd because that can still span
Many
a lot of
things.
different media formats.
Okay. Do you have any like particular favorite like fantasy stories or franchises?
Right now, I'm getting into Baldur's Gate a lot and Dungeons and Dragons. So,
Are you playing Baldur's Gate 3, I would assume?
yes, I am
yeah.
about halfway through. When I was little, it was Lord of the Rings, definitely.
Of course. I haven't played this, but I feel like anytime Baldur's Gate comes up, I have to ask him, like, who are you romancing?
Lae'zel,
Okay.
Bazel, of course.
Because apparently, I haven't played it yet, but apparently that's the most important question. Of the,
yeah.
Oh, you're playing. Who are you romancing? That's,
Oh, yeah,
that's
yeah,
like
yeah.
the-
Of
that's the
course,
first
of course.
question. There's all these incredible combat systems and everything that people eventually will get to, but I'm like, but who are you romancing?
Yeah.
I'm trying to romance everyone, but that did not work out well. All right, fantasy. I like that. I think when you did come out with the first time, I had just gotten my big Lord of the Rings book, and it was just
Oh yeah, and I was nerding over it.
this, of course, is a Star Trek podcast, though, and I'm not entirely sure where you are with Star Trek. Before we started, you did say you are always down for a good, silly, campy Star Trek episode. But where are you with the whole Star Trek thing? Where do you fall on that?
Yeah, so Aren actually introduced me to Star Trek, and I am becoming a fan. I'm getting more into sci-fi. I grew up with Star Wars, big Star Wars fan, and now I'm also becoming a big fan of Star Trek. Of course, Spock and Kirk, their friendship, that just makes it. You know, the whale movie, that was incredible. Deep Space Nine, just love Deep Space Nine. So yeah, I'm really interesting. And I remember watching one episode that was kind of a tie-in to the Vietnam War and just, realizing like, oh, it can be campy, it can be fun, but also it can have some, some deep thought.
Was this Private Little War? Is that what you guys
Yeah,
watched?
because I was going through
Because you were listening to the podcast?
I was going through the podcast. So.
Oh, man, yeah, what a trip that episode is. It is
Yeah.
like, we talked about on the podcast, it's like, this was both hilarious and horrifying, like, all at the same time.
So true.
All at the same time. Hell yeah. Anytime, I always love when people can bring up Kirk and Spock. I'm like, thank you, because Kirk and Spock for the win, right? Are you just kind of watching, like, random stuff? Have you been like sitting down and watching like Deep Space Nine, or has it just been kind of like just picking up episodes here and there and just kind of checking it all out?
Yeah, just kind of here and there, just like an episode from the season, from the show, and then one here, one there. Just
Star Trek lends itself. I know some people are purists and say you got to start at the beginning. I'm like, I mean, if you want to, but I'm like, one of the reasons why I do the show like this, I'm like, Star Trek's so good for the most part. There are exceptions, but just kind of just watch this one. Yeah, just watch this one, which I always love. I love the kind of just drop in and check it out kind of quality. We're watching Voyager today. Have you delved into Voyager at all yet in
No.
your guys' journey? At all? Not even one?
I don't think so.
No, usually when I put on random Star Trek things, it's either for the podcast or TNG movies or like Deep Space Nine episodes.
Yeah. So if you've never seen it, do you have any impressions about this show at all, or is it like a total just I have no idea what this one is?
No, yeah, just like Mad Max, I'm coming in kind of a blank slate, just ready to see what it is.
Nice. I'm going to be so curious your feelings on this one, because without trying to get too spoilery, this one also does kind of dip its toes into the horror genre, particularly like body horror stuff. So I will be intrigued
Incredible.
to hear your thoughts on this one.
Perfect for October coming up.
Yep. It's the first day of autumn today.
Yeah.
By the way, happy autumn, everyone.
Yes,
Oh, happy
best
fall.
season.
Before we get into it, speaking of body horror, what do you think, Kate? Do our racial origins define who we are?
Oh my. I feel like we're getting back into, school and all of the nature v nurture stuff.
Yep. Yep.
Wrote a lot of papers on that. I tend to go more nurture over nature. Like, I think nature, like our genetic makeup, makes us like a human species more.
Yeah.
And sure, there are, like differences between people, but I feel like as a human race, we need to focus more on our similarities and, how individual people are different. And we need to just focus on how we can work together. Kind of the same thing with like, different genders and sexes. Like, sure, there can be differences. How much is it nature? How much is nurture? Does it really matter? Let's just see how we can work together and realize we have more in common.
More in common. I mean, what is it like? Even like a banana shares something like, I can't remember.
Like 99%
like,
of the
it's like this incredible number. It's like, and that's not even speaking about like other animals and certainly like other primates. It's like, I don't think you guys realize like how closely you share more in common with a bonobo than you think you do. And then let alone like other people and everything. It's I feel like if we lived, this is one of these questions that, while interesting to ask, I feel like it's one of those I'm like, but if we lived in a different kind of culture, it would not be that interesting to ask. Especially because America has such a weird history with race and still to this day. I feel like it's one of those things where it's like, and like, even like, on some level, like, will it inform you? Sure. Like, especially like, that might, inform what kind of even just culture you're born into. But even then, it's like, but defining you, I'm like, no. That's when you start getting into some of those weird some of that crazy like pseudoscience back in like the 1800s, just like
phrenology.
Yes.
Oh, the shape of your skull is like this, which means you're like this.
And in the end, it's just complete nonsense just used to justify racism, So it's like, no. And yeah, the more it would be interesting, the more kind of diverse the country gets, more, there's a lot more biracial people than there ever was. I would, it'd be interesting if we got to a point in the future where it's just not even really a question to ask. It's like, well, who cares? Like,
wasn't there a thing they did several years ago where it's like, this is what the like average person is going to look in the future,
like 1,000 years in the future,
and it
or
was
whatever.
like,
yeah, all these pretty biracial people.
Yeah,
That's what we're gonna look like in the future. Yeah, certainly not. Defining you at all. Maybe informing, but even then, there's just so much variation from people within a culture, even like a family group. Like, it's insane. So it's like, no, not at all. But apparently Star Trek sometimes thinks it does. Strange New Worlds. Well, I guess we'll have to see if this episode, what it has to say on this question, because it certainly kind of brings it up. So this will be an interesting one to watch. Yes, we are watching Faces today. This premiered May 8th, 1995. This is the 13th episode of the first season of Star Trek Voyager, as well as our final season 1 episode on our list. Aren, after this, we're moving into season 2 territory. Wow, we're just moving along, aren't we? This, like we said, this is the second episode of our Voyager villains twofer. Last time we delved into the Kazon. This time we're going to be checking out more of the Vidians. We have seen the Vidians once before on the show, and they have been initially set up as this advanced species that has been ravaged by a centuries-long flesh-eating disease, which forces them to have to constantly harvest organs and stuff from other aliens to survive.
Here comes the body horror.
Yeah, here comes the body horror. Yikes. We've basically just kind of gotten them set up. In the last episode, one of the crew members actually had their lungs harvested. So they're basically trying to track down these aliens to get the lungs back. Wild little episode. This is going to be their second go around. So we can see how the show handles them and fleshes them out as fleshes them out as a recurring antagonist. All right, everyone at home who's going to watch along with us, Star Trek Voyager is streaming on Paramount Plus. You can find it by bringing up Season 1, Episode 14, and we will be back after we watch Faces.
So strange.
What?
When I was a child, I did everything I could to hide my forehead. Hats, scarves, you name it.
When I was a kid, I wore a cap to cover the haircuts my father used to make me get. First day of every summer.
I grew up in a colony on Keswick 4. My mother and I were the only Klingons there. And that was a time when relations between the homeworld and the Federation weren't too cordial. Nobody ever said anything, but we were different. And I didn't like that feeling. Then my father left when I was 5 years old. One day he was there and the next he wasn't. I cried myself to sleep every night for months. But of course I never told anybody. And then I finally decided that he left because I looked like a Klingon. And so I tried to look human.
Looks like you finally got what you wanted.
All right, we just got done watching Faces. In case you've never seen this one before, didn't watch it with us. So in this one, there is an away team of Tom Paris, B'Elanna Torres, and Durst. Lieutenant Ensign Durst. They're on a planet doing like examining magnesite deposits. I don't know. The episode's very just like whatever. But B'Elanna gets captured. It turns out the Vidians are on this planet. They have a little base on this planet, and there is like he said he was like the head surgeon of the Vidians.
Yeah, I was like, what?
That's like saying I am the head surgeon of the humans. I'm like, what? You are the guy?
Just on this mining base?
On this mining base. I am the head one. But he figures out that, so they capture B'Elanna Torres. She's half human, half Klingon. He figures out that her Klingon DNA is resistant to the phage, the disease that is destroying their people. So somehow he is able to split her He's able to extract her Klingon and a human DNA and create two separate people, one fully human B'Elanna Torres and one fully Klingon B'Elanna
But curing the
Torres.
phage is impossible.
But apparently, he can do that. He's like, I just resequenced your genome. It's like, wait.
Can't you?
You can just do that, but you can't cure this disease? Like, you could just change your genome so the disease doesn't affect you anymore. What are you guys doing? So, but he extracts the two so he can study the Klingon Torres because Klingons are resistant to the phage. And as far as we can tell, it's like, she gets infected with it. And this kind of part drops off a little bit, but she gets infected with it. But she just basically just kind of gets a little like hot and sweaty.
She gets joint pain.
Joint pain. But she's fine. And so like Klingon B'Elanna is like locked up and tied up in like the lab of horrors as she's like trying to like escape and seduce like her tormentors like Sulan. Meanwhile, human B'Elanna gets thrown into the mines just to do grunt work. There are several scenes of prison trauma processing in this episode where she's just like, oh my God, I'm a coward. I'm horrible. I'm the worst. The Voyager crew is able to eventually send Chakotay in to kind of rescue them. At some point, Lieutenant Durst dies because the Vidian surgeon guy, Sulan, he falls in love with B'Elanna and puts on Durst's face to show, like, look how handsome I am now. Do you love me now? Horror. At one point, Klingon B'Elanna rescues human B'Elanna, and then they have a little campfire scene where they eat rodent meat and work out their problems, and they're able to get the force field down, and eventually everyone is rescued, but not before Chief Vidian Surgeon Sulan accidentally kills, we get the classic, I'm going to kill one of you, and then Klingon B'Elanna, no! And takes the bullet for human B'Elanna. And Klingon B'Elanna dies on the transporter. No, there's no time. But then the doctor is like, hey, by the way, you need your Klingon cells to survive. So I'm actually just going to extract the DNA from your Klingon corpse and put it back into you. Oh my God.
Just an everyday procedure.
How could anyone extract your DNA? We can put it back together, and that's no problem. And that's kind of the note the episode ends on. I've said this so many times on the show, but wacky, wild stuff. We start with initial thoughts. Kate, initial thoughts on your first episode of Voyager.
Well, the body horror was incredible. Very much Leatherface with a stretched out Durst face, but still very, very campy. The self/fiction potential is just off the charts. Just off the charts. If you want to write fan fiction, I think this is your episode.
Yep.
Yeah, and we've got the, oh no, like I'm so weak without my Klingon self that I've hated my Klingon self. And then, of course, stupid man Tom comes in and he's just like, oh yeah, I used to get bad haircuts as a kid. And it's just like, no, like she talks about being like, you know, like othered and feeling different and her dad leaving and blaming herself and like all these different traumas. And then she has to come to terms with her Klingon self and realize that, you know, maybe I'm different than everyone else, but it's part of what makes me me, and I kind of miss it in a way. And, you know, they kind of gloss over that fact. Like, it can be kind of like, oh, you know, like, believe in yourself, accept yourself, you're different than everyone else, and that's okay. But they just kind of just, like, you know, ignore it. And then, of course, like, Durst, like, you know, like, he's gone. I'm just like, what? This character's gone. No mention of him. Like, oh, we're not beaming him up. That's fine. A funeral? No. Like, who cares about him? Like,
he did.
He's probably in a million pieces by now.
They said he saved 12 12 lives. So
Okay.
You know, he's in
shout
at
out
least
to Durst.
12 Shout out to Durst. He gets nothing.
Saved 12 lives in this episode. You know, most red shirts don't get to save anyone, but Durst got to save 12 people, so yay!
Including the chief medical officer of the entire
He didn't even save his
species.
life. He just gave him literally a face
facelift.
makeover.
A facelift.
Like, a facelift. Like, oh my God.
And it was terrible. It's like, please get like a real plastic surgeon or something, because this is doing nothing for you, bud.
I love that they chose Durst over Tom Paris. So I was like, how did they come to this decision? I want to know.
Vidians have
Maybe
no concept of human
strength?
attractiveness.
You're
Yeah.
just like, just take anyone.
Get the bald one. He's probably the sexy one.
But it's like, what if she had like a huge dispute with him, and it's like, oh, I can't have sex with my enemy, like, like, oh, my voracious sexual appetite. It was just like, oh my goodness, like what campy, loving it. Klingons. Wow,
They're so amazing.
Oh my! She almost literally chews the scenery in her Klingon role. I don't want this. Like every line, just with her teeth, just.
Oh, she was incredible, just incredible.
At least she gets a little. She lightens up a little bit once she finally escapes, and I'm like, she's talking normally. I'm like, okay,
Normal-ish.
yeah, a little bit.
Normal asterisks.
Before I'll just blame it on the phage, and she's still growing accustomed to the fact that she's an actual full Klingon.
Yeah. Yes. Again, wacky, wild stuff. Yeah, I didn't want to set your expectations too much. But definitely campy. Like, oh my God, but I feel like good campy, but maybe unintentionally good campy.
Yes, it was. That's what makes it the best.
They're so earnest. They're so earnest in this episode. Aren, we'll come to you. Aren, initial thoughts off of Faces.
I've always loved this one. I love how creepy it is. I remember, especially as a kid, when he came in with Durst's face on his, I was like, no! Awful! It's so creepy. And I'm like, this is broadcast television. And I was like, we got people wearing other people's faces. No. I've always loved Klingon B'Elanna. She's so amazing. I was a kid. I loved Klingon women. I still love Klingon women, and I will go to my grave still loving Klingon women. And
here lies Aren Hatch, loved Klingon women.
Exactly. Put that on my tombstone.
That's why they're dead. they were in a relationship with a Klingon woman. Threw her across the room.
What a way to go.
Survive that voracious sexual appetite.
Voracious sexual
so amazing.
appetites.
And I just love how Roxanne Dawson plays both of them, because, I mean, she obviously feels more like B'Elanna in the human version of B'Elanna, but I think she plays both of them well. And so I just liked seeing her being able to play two different kinds of versions of her character than the normal in this one, which was fun. I like the Vidians. I think they're creepy, which is a huge thing for me, and I like that. I think the writers did not think nearly enough about the whole Vidian thing, because there's just so many plot holes there.
What about this?
So many. But I'm like, I don't care. It's fun to make fun of it, but I'm like, they're creepy and they're compelling and much more interesting than the Kazon, who are just complete nothing burgers. They just are. So even when you have the added Seska, betrayal, that's the only thing that makes them even like mildly interesting. The Vidians don't need Seska. They're just there being creepy on their own. And as a horror fan and a body horror fan, I'm there for it.
This is, God, I don't even know how to consolidate my thoughts on this. Like, I do find this this is one of those episodes I think that's really fun to watch, especially with peeps. Or like we were saying earlier before we started doing the podcast, like at 2 a.m. if you're having a trouble sleeping, then it kind of has this fever dream quality of like, what the fuck? Because it's really creepy, but it's also so silly. It's hard to, it's like, and you can see them trying so hard. Take this seriously. It's like, try all you want, Star Trek. But this is inherently an absurd idea. Like, but it's so fun to watch. It kind of gives me echoes of
Enemy Within.
Oh my God. Absolutely. But I was going to say 60s Star Trek, generally speaking. This is definitely Voyager doing Enemy Within, but I'm going to say I think Enemy Within is more effective and more interesting.
Well, that one, it's because that one feels less bioessentialist. Like this one feels just like all Klingons. If you have this DNA, you're gonna be right.
That's more of like just a strict good and evil. They split Captain Kirk into good Kirk and evil Kirk, but they do some interesting stuff with that, and it's not tied to race at all. Whereas this one, it's like Klingon B'Elanna is this, and human B'Elanna is this.
Yeah, it works with Kirk because it's like it's still just Kirk. He's still everyone has good and bad in them. So it makes sense.
Yeah. So the big story in this is the split persona thing of B'Elanna. We got the Klingon one and we got the human one. This is not the first time Star Trek has done the whole split screen actor thing. Though this is a somewhat unique novel spin on it. What do you guys think about this conceptually? Like, what works, what doesn't work about this whole idea? What do you guys think?
They did not go deep enough into it.
Yeah.
Like, the whole thing is about, like, having different parts of yourself, coming to terms with it, self-acceptance. And they just really didn't talk about that at all. And also think about the Vidaeans, like, they have to change their appearance all the time. They're putting different pieces of themselves into themselves. And if you think about like human like organ transplants, like if you get a heart transplant or something, sometimes you pick up different things from the person whose organs was transplanted. They could have gone on this whole thing about, shifting personalities, their views of self-image and how that goes. And they just didn't do it. It's just like, oh, I'm coming on with Durst face, or, oh, you don't recognize me, not because I'm an imposter, but because I just got like a new skin graft. And it's like, okay, yeah, like, it's like you can't even recognize your buddies, or can you? Or just, they could have done a lot more with that. But the way they kind of did go with it was kind of campy. Like when both Lanas are sitting around that campfire eating the rodent meat, it's like, you're weak, you need to eat this to get strong. And then when she was telling Tom, and she's like, wow, I've never cowered before, and I'm such a coward. Like, it's just like, wow, you're just saying that like all humans are like wimpy babies. But, and it's just... that whole dialogue, and it's supposed to be like, wow, like she's fighting against herself internally, but it's external. It's supposed to be so cool, but it was just kind of a little bit cheesy over the rodent meat. And then she's like, I have 2 fists, I'm gonna go fight and win. And she's like, no, we have to think about the smart. We have to go unlock their computer. And I feel like they should have extended that scene a little bit. You can kind of tell a little bit about what they're doing, but I feel like there was just so much going on that it wasn't as effective unless you have time to stop and think about it after. Like, wait, what was going on? Just everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. Like, I feel like this scene we were the most invested in a not campy way. This might be the best scene in the episode it's when she's opening up. I mean, even though we did joke about the scene, but when she's opening up to Tom about when she was a little girl and she was so embarrassed about like the ridges and being the Klingon, she would try to cover it up, and she hated being othered. I'm like, that's some compelling stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. That's the
best scene in the episode, and I feel like she and shout out to Roxanne Dawson, like she plays that really well. But that's not really what the episode ends up being about. It just kind of ends up being, it just kind of ends up being just sci-fi goofy plot of this has happened and we have to get out of here and fix the problem. But I'm like, but there is some really interesting like potential character drama, but I just don't feel like we quite fully get it. And what we do get, aside from that scene, does feel very just kind of like, I don't know, trite.
Glossed over.
And it's like, you need both parts of you to survive. And it's like, yes, but like, come on, but like, let's get into it. And there's never any point in this episode where like that gets to breathe, because part of it is just like they're trying to escape from jail, and there's like a functional plot that has to kind of happen. And I don't think, Aren, we're overladen with technobabble as much as other episodes, but we're still kind of in the weeds with like the sci-fi plot.
Yeah. All the technobabble was just when they would cut back to the ship and they're trying to figure out what the problem is, and there's microns and circumferences and force fields.
Yeah. All the ship scenes where they're just like, you're like,
yeah, basically.
But shout out to Kate Mulgrew for trying to make that shit interesting, because
she was into it. And then heard that shot of with her arms over the chairs.
What do you think, boys? What can we do to get our people out of there?
Yeah.
She'd be an amazing leader of a biker gang.
Janeway with that hairdo.
No.
Yeah.
No. Okay, sorry. What
do you think? What do you think of this conceptually, or as an idea in an episode?
They come at it from the wrong angle.
Yeah.
Because that scene where she's talking to Paris, I feel like that's the real issue. Where you're multiracial, you're born to people from two different cultures, and the conflict and that can come from that. Trying to be part of two different worlds. And then I guess kind of, she's not necessarily an immigrant, I guess, in that case. No. Because she's born to them, but kind of a similar thing. It's like where you show up, you're different than everyone else. And, you know, and then the trauma of her dad leaving, you know, that's like the actual problem. It has nothing to do with her DNA. I would just like to just pretend that the reason she's so weak and they're so crazy is because this was a super traumatic operation and like they just have to adjust. Sure. And that's the only reason, is that, you know, eventually I feel like, I mean, it's silly sci-fi garbage, but I'm like eventually I feel like human B'Elanna would have been fine.
Yeah. Yeah, this is such a strange episode to talk about. Because again, I feel like this is best viewed in the campy lens, if you don't take it too seriously. If you try to actually get into the themes they're talking about, I feel like it kind of all falls apart. It's like, it's fun to watch in a sci-fi thing, but like imagine them trying to do this series, because like imagine them trying to do this as a Twilight Zone or a Black Mirror episode, where it's like a biracial person gets split into like, say, totally black and totally white person, and like the black person is like, I am the aggressive one, and the white one's like, I'm the wimpy one. I'm like, this would be one of the worst episodes of television imaginable, to try to like put traits to just where do you come from?
The stereotype.
The stereotypes.
Right, because if that did happen, they'd probably just be two of the same person. They just look different.
Exactly. And I think that's that to me is the biggest potential like flaw with this. And if they had tweaked it just a bit, where she's like, wow, we aren't that different. And then you could really play up the sadness and the tragedy of like, I have spent my entire life wanting to hide all of this because I felt like this Klingon side of me was dragging me down. I'm like, no, like, it's all fine. It's just how I perceive this, or maybe how others treated me too. But I'm like, but the fact that they make them so different, which I get, it's a TV show, but I'm like,
it does feel like that Strange New Worlds thing. It's just like, oh,
all Klingons act like this.
I'm all Vulcan DNA now, and suddenly I'm just super logical and a bitch, and I'm like, it's like this. It's just like, I'm Klingon now, so I'm angry and
yeah.
violence only.
Yeah. What do you guys think? I feel like this is a cop-out, but I'm curious as to what you guys feel about the ending.
I mean, I agree, yes. And it would be sad to lose Klingon B'Elanna because I love her and all her Klingon stories or whatever. But it would have been cool to have to suddenly just find her new balance, I guess, as a human on the show, and everyone else adjusting to that as well, and how that affects the mission and the crew and her work and interpersonal life. And so I mean, that would have been super interesting. Yeah. I'm not too sad just because I love Klingon B'Elanna. Sure. But that would have been crazy.
I think it's interesting that nobody in the show, I guess maybe me as a viewer definitely, is wondering like which one is more the real B'Elanna. Like, did the wrong one die? I remember as a kid reading this Goosebumps book about this dad that does like plant engineering, and you find out that the dad's actually like the plant version. I have to find the real dad, and it's like, oh no, but which one of all of these dads is the plant? Which one's the real dad? And it just terrified me as like a 9-year-old, you know? And so it's just like, oh, like, is this really all B'Elanna? Is it the same B'Elanna? How did they both have the same memories? Are they really the same person? Did they need to be like combined again? Or I don't know, just nobody wondering that, you know, is that like the Happy Valley uncanny effect where it's just like something seems just a little bit off, just like everybody's just like, oh yeah, this is just B'Elanna, normal B'Elanna, like, oh yeah, everything can go back to normal and you can watch the next episode having skipped this one, I'm sure, and just
it's all fine.
It's all, yeah.
Durst isn't here, but you know, whatever.
Yeah, so what do you guys think? So I mean, this is your first time seeing them, Kait, Aren. This is the second time we've seen them, not just on our list, but this is the second time they appear on the show. What do you guys think about the Vidians as the sort of recurring adversary for this crew?
I wanted more from it, like more urgency, more sense of like sympathy. Like if you're walking around, it's like, oh no, like my left arm just fell off, and it's like, oh shoot, they really do need, you know, to harvest these organs. And then it's like, oh, what's more moral, like killing someone else or not? But now it's just like, oh, so you've got these ugly people, but they're all ugly, so it's fine, and they seem to get around okay, so it doesn't really matter. Like they're just evil. So I think that would have made them a lot more interesting. But I think they are still interesting, you know, like a face stealer, organ harvesting stealer. Like it does play into like, you know, like a lot of fears. Like you hear urban legends about black markets, and like sure there actually are, but I think I would be excited to see how hopefully they have improved the storyline and really gotten more into them as an adversary in later episodes.
Yeah, I mean, this is your first time watching them, and you know, and the first time we saw them, it was mostly like a chase episode where we didn't see them until the very end. Only at the very end, it's like, here's who these people are. It's like, oh, so this is actually really the first time we kind of really get to, again, flesh them out a little bit. I would agree though, like their situation doesn't seem desperate, even though the script seems to be speaking to it, my people, and I need this cure, but aside from them talking, and then of course the aesthetics of how they look, but I'm like, but other than that, they kind of just act like bog standard Star Trek baddies. I'd be curious, what do you think, Aren? How do you feel about them the second go around?
They're definitely less sympathetic. I think because in the first episode we had two different kinds of people, like one who's just like, no, we have to help them because of what we did, what we stole. Yeah. The other guy who's just like, we should just leave. They're letting us go. We should just go or whatever. But then these guys are just, exactly. They're just evil, and it's like the main guy is almost sympathetic, but he's just too creepy about it all. That it's like, oh, you're hitting on your patient that you've infected with a disease and you know is gonna die. I was like, are you sure you're the lead surgeon for your people who's just found what's probably the cure in 2,000 years, but you're so focused on grafting some random man's face to your
pretty now
face so that your patient will bang you? Like, I'd rather have her tried to like seduce him and then just it not work, just flat out, you know, rather than her like kind of succeed.
Yeah.
you know, and what she was doing. I was like, eh.
He's just totally not interested. I mean, because of this, we do get the my people are renowned for our voracious sexual appetites.
Oh, best line. Need it on a bumper sticker.
Look,
Klingon females are renowned.
We can still have that line. We just doesn't work on him. Problem
So
solved.
I think what they could have done to make it a little bit more interesting is what if he's like, oh, I don't care about you at all. I want to save my people. And then he's like, oh, I actually start to have feelings for you. Like, do I risk losing somebody I finally care about? And like, you know,
Losing
go
the care
against
for
my
my
whole
people.
people, you know, like maybe something like that. Of course, you know, with everything else that's like barely going on in this episode, that would have been too much. But yeah, what they had just ended up being really campy. Just like an easy way to get rid of Durst. Like, how are we going to get rid of Durst? Oh, he needs his face to try and be handsome. Just
Handsome. Kate, this is your very first taste of Star Trek Voyager. To kind of more generally speaking, as like a new Star Trek show, how did this come across to you as a Star Trek show you have not seen before?
I'm not sure I cared about many of the characters at all. I don't feel invested. I'm just like, yeah, I'll stick with Deep Space Nine or the original series. I don't know. I mean, like, this was a great taste of Voyager, and I'm glad to have had it, but it's not like the top of my Star Trek list. Like Tom, I'm just like, what a phony, and
Who the fuck
I don't
is this
know. He's
guy?
just like so unemotional, so uncaring. It's just like she's like going off on this trauma, and he's like, "Oh yeah, like I had a bad haircut as a kid too. Just, whoa me." This is, I
Classic
guess,
Trump
like
Paris.
the racial form of like white woman tears or whatever. And I'm just like, oh yeah, I know how you feel because I got bad haircuts.
I got a bad haircut from my mom, so I definitely know
His
you're
dad.
going
It was his.
through.
She's like, I blame myself for my dad leaving, and he's just like, I blame my dad for bad haircuts. And it's just like, I don't know.
the
It's just
same
so
thing.
weird, but. I don't know. Like, I'm sure I'll give it another chance with another episode, but like
We'll watch Counterpoint. That's my favorite Voyager.
Okay, we'll try that one. But yeah.
All right, I think we'll get into final thoughts. Kate, final thoughts on Faces.
Definitely a great take on the whole I guess like terrible diseases, organ harvesting, you know, fear, body horror. Just an interesting episode. Just touched on a lot of little things very briefly, very surface level. Campy as hell. I terrified to see what sort of fan fiction there is about this episode, but I'm
must
sure
be.
it's great.
Yeah, it must be. There must be. If you are listening to this podcast and you have written /fiction about Klingon and human B'Elanna, you can email us at storiedstartrek@gmail.com. That's storiedstartrek@gmail.com. What do you think? Positive, neutral, or negative first impressions on Voyager?
Entertaining, positive, campy, positive, great to watch with friends, positive. Is it getting me into Voyager as a series? Did I care for any characters other than both B'Elannas? No.
No.
So is it effective as drawing me into the series itself? No. Is it something I will talk about? Like, if I saw this and I went to school the next day, I was like, whoa, we have to talk about this. You know, it'd be like the talk of the week, but
Yep.
maybe not the most effective watching it streaming when there are a bunch of other things I could watch next.
Yeah, this all tracks for me.
You don't want to watch Faces and Voyager when Hill House is also on streaming? Like,
I need to watch that. Yes. Yes.
Please watch Haunting on Hill House. Even though this is a Star Trek podcast, if you are someone currently debating between Star Trek Voyager and Haunting on Hill House, I would encourage you, as someone who has actually not seen Haunting on Hill House, please choose Haunting on Hill House.
One of my favorite TV lesbians is in Hill House.
Oh, really?
So.
All right. Well, that's all I needed to hear. Aren, final thoughts on Faces.
I still love it.
Still love it.
Still love Klingon B'Elanna with all my heart. And just B'Elanna in general. But,
when you write that /fiction, let us know. Send it to the Gmail.
There were a couple points where I just saw you just like, oh, I was like, it's okay. We're gonna get through it, Aren. It's okay.
I love Klingon women. Klingon men are fine too, but Klingon women. Klingon women and Worf. There you go.
Even the Klingon men are like, they basically all seem to indicate that the Klingon women are like, they're the hardcore ones though.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
We're all putting on a show. They're the real deal.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah, a little weird though coming back watching it as an adult now. I'm pretty sure the last time I watched it I was like a teenager or something. Yeah, and especially after watching that Strange New Worlds clip, I'm like, this is in the same vein as that.
Yeah, I feel like for me, this is fairly indicative of Voyager generally speaking. Like if you just want to have a fun time with Voyager, and when they're just kind of having a fun time with the show, this is kind of what you get. This is not one of the best. It's not one of the worst. My goodness. Voyager has some low lows. This is not that. Just again, I've said it a few times in this very episode, but I'm like wacky, wild stuff. It's just kind of like watching them. It's just kind of like.
Okay.
I guess I'm here for the ride. I had some good cheesecake and some good time for friends, and then I just saw crazy Klingon human shenanigans. You need your nourishment. Eat
the rodent meat.
Okay. All right. I think we'll wrap it up. Well, thank you, everyone at home, for tuning in to our coverage of Faces. We hope you enjoyed our coverage of the episode, if not the episode itself. Kate, thank you so much for coming on again and actually watching a Star Trek with us this time.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah. Aren, as always, thank you.
Of course.
For our Voyager shenanigans. All right. Next time, we are going to be jumping into season 2 with Elogium. Yes, this is going to be a Neelix and Guess episode. We haven't really delved too much into their relationship, so next time we're going to be kind of getting into that whole thing. We haven't really looked at a lot of, just generally on Star Trek stories, because there are definitely like on occasion in these shows relationships between, like romantic relationships between the main characters, but we haven't gotten too much into that yet. So I feel like this is going to be one of the first instances where we kind of get into it.
And what a couple. Ooh.
Yeah, a kind of middle-aged space raccoon and a 1-year-old.
Yeah.
You make it sound awful. I'm terrified.
Oh boy. Buckle up, everyone. Elogium next time. We will also be having on a new friend for that one. That's always exciting. So even if Elogium's not good, we'll have a new friend. That's always exciting. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Kate, once again, thank you.
Thank you.
Aren, thank you.
Thank you.
And we will see you all next time. Hopefully not having your organs and face harvested so a guy can impress his girlfriend. or whatever.
Or your DNA split in half.
Or having your DNA split in half.
His patient?
Hopefully just nothing that happens in this episode. Hopefully you are not finding yourself in that situation next time. All right, everyone, have a good one. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to share us your own Star Trek story, you can email us at storiedstartrek@gmail.com, or you can visit our Discord server. You can find us by clicking on the link in the show description.